An assessment of the use of apps in the classroom as good pedagogy. The New South Wales Department of Education and Community's Quality Teaching Framework has 3 dimensions of good pedagogy: intellectual quality, quality learning environment, and significance. We will analyse how each of these dimensions may benefit through the use of apps in the classroom. Intellectual quality. In a report following a trial of iPad use in selected schools, Dr. Goodwin identified 3 categories of app: content creation productivity apps that allow students to synthesize knowledge to create, for example, comic strips or videos explaining mathematical processes; manipulable apps that allow for guided discovery but are not as freeform as content creation productivity apps; and instructive games-based apps that are highly effective for curriculum aspects requiring rote memorization, such as spelling and multiplication. They involve instant feedback and repetition. On the left-hand side we can see a diagram depicting Bloom's digital taxonomy, with a range from lower to higher order thinking being remembering, understanding, applying, analysing, evaluating, and creating. In pink, there are correlating descriptions of tasks that require that order of thinking. On the left, we can see how each category of app, as defined by Goodwin, represents an order of thinking, with content creation productivity apps requiring higher order thinking, manipulable apps requiring middle order thinking, and instructive games-based apps requiring lower order thinking. Interestingly, the same study found that students showed a preference for constructive content creation apps, demonstrating that not only can the use of apps in the classroom accommodate higher order thinking, but actually encourages the student to use higher order thinking. Moving on to a quality learning environment. A quality learning environment supports and includes all children. This requires differentiation. It has been found that the use of apps and iPads makes differentiation easier. For example, iPads and tablets are very portable. Apps can be downloaded to specific iPads for particular students or groups. Secondly, the open-ended nature of apps, in particular the content creation apps, allows students to extend themselves as far as their knowledge and capabilities will take them, unlike, say, the restrictive nature of a worksheet. Apps allow students to learn in a myriad of ways through further supporting and including all students. Apps can cater for visual learners through videos and pictures, tactile learners through manipulating objects, auditory learners through, say, music and read aloud functions. Even issues such as poorly developed motor skills can be overcome with word processing apps. Teachers have reported that students who have not produced much handwritten work due to the tedious nature of handwriting would produce much more work using a word processing app. Social support, communication and collaboration. Trials by the New South Wales DEC have found that the use of iPads and apps enhance collaboration and communication rather than inhibiting it. This can be facilitated by the teacher through arranging group collaborative learning, particularly using content productivity apps, and making rules such as when a student learns something new, they must share it with a classmate. Anecdotal reports from the New South Wales study, teachers reported that a student would learn something and it would be a domino effect through the classroom of students teaching each other. Anecdotal reports from Western Australia found that students communicated and collaborated well as the iPad gave them all a single focus and interest. Engagement is important in a quality learning environment. Trials in Western Australia have found that the use of apps has increased students' motivation, engagement in learning, and increased students' enthusiasm and focus. This then led to improved behaviour. This was particularly relevant with students with a disability or who had previously been disengaged. If we have a look at significance, we must realise that the new technology is here to stay, and tablet and iPad technology and the use of apps is now a fixture of the development of a student within and outside of schools. As schools play a role in preparing students for life, it is crucial that we play a role in a student's technological education. For students to see the relevance of their education, we must use technology that is now ingrained in their everyday life so that they can relate their education to the real world. Startup and troubleshooting. The use of new technology as good pedagogy will require upskilling and new knowledge from a teacher. Luckily, there are tools to assist us. The first of which is TPACK or TPAC. In bringing on new technology, teachers will need new knowledge. This is the technological knowledge, how to use tablets and iPads, for example. Technological pedagogical knowledge, how apps will enhance learning, for example, which apps to use in which situation. And technological content knowledge, how apps are relevant to content. For example, which apps are relevant and reliable to what you are trying to teach. The next is SAMAR, which teachers can use to gauge how well they're using technology in their classroom. Are they using it just to substitute, for example, using ebooks to substitute a textbook, or are they actually transforming tasks and redefining what students are doing with technology, allowing for a creation of new tasks previously inconceivable? For example, use of content creation productivity apps to create a comic strip version of a scene from a Shakespearean text. Rubrics. Teachers can use an app rubric to gauge the relevance and reliability of the app for what they are trying to achieve in the classroom. The use of tablet and iPad apps in the classroom is good pedagogy. All three dimensions of good pedagogy as defined by the Quality Teaching Framework can be enhanced by the use of the technology. Intellectual quality is improved by links and incentives to use higher order thinking. Quality learning environment is supported by assisting the inclusion of all students and allowing students to learn and demonstrate learning in a variety of ways, as well as improving collaboration, communication and engagement. And significance, if schools are to be relevant, we must use the same technology. That is such a large part of a student's life.